day. And it's a special announcement when you get one Hall of Famer, but to get two is maybe 1 in a million in the same class. So very honored to stand up in front of you today with Tony Oliva to my left and Jim Kaat on the screen, the newest members of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. I just want to thank a few people that are in the crowd today that are showing support. Some key people in both of these guys' lives. Tom Kelly is here today. Paul Molitor, Jack Morris, Tim Laudner, Ken Herbeck, Bill Smith, and Jim Rance are all here showing support for these guys. And I just want to give them all a round of applause for being here, so thank you. And I thought to myself, I've been around a while, but I haven't been around that long, that there's somebody that's better at this than I am. And I want to bring up to the podium current broadcaster, Twins legend Dick Brammer, to tell a few stories about these guys. So welcome, Dick.
Thank you, Dustin, and I am privileged to be a part of what has to be one of the most joyous days in Twins history. As Dustin said, not one but two Hall of Famers. The Twins Hall of Fame class growing from 4 to 6, and we're just thrilled to death. The organization is just so upbeat right now, and we're very, very happy about that. And it's such a joyous day, and I really don't think it matters whether you're old enough like I am to have seen Jim Kaat and Tony Oliva play for the Twins, or whether Byron Buxton is your favorite Twin of all time. I don't think it matters. In 61 years of Twins baseball, now we have 6 caps that will be wearing, or 6 baseball players wearing Twins caps in the Hall of Fame. The numbers have been there all along, haven't they? But now finally the numbers have been acknowledged. Jim Kaat, 16 Gold Gloves, 283 Major League wins. And to me, the most impressive thing, Jim, the most impressive thing, we'll get a chance to hear your thoughts later on. For 25 years, people were paying him to get big league hitters out. And to me, that's more impressive than the 283 wins. With Mr. Oliva, 3 batting titles, and a Gold Glove, which I know he is very, very proud of, and a Rookie of the Year, 1964, the 3-time batting champion, and Dave will talk more about what he's done for this organization after his playing days are behind, or were behind him. Again, an honor just to be a very small part of this, and Dave, let's bring you into the discussion here. I think you spoke for a lot of Twins fans, at least this Twins fan, and people all over the upper Midwest when you admitted you were on pins and needles. And I think you said as much about the organization as a whole, pins and needles. But it's all worth it, isn't it, when we got the news that we got yesterday?
Yeah, Dick, thank you for being here. And on behalf of the Pohlad family, I want to say thank you to everybody in attendance today. Yesterday was a great day to be a Twin, a tremendous day in the history of our franchise, a momentous day for our state. On behalf of the Pohlad family and everybody associated with Minnesota Twins baseball, and most importantly, millions of fans across Twins territory, we want to offer congratulations to Tony Oliva, his lovely wife Gordette, to Jim Kaat, and his lovely wife Margie. We are absolutely tickled to be here today, and we come here today to offer gratitude. Thank you to Tony and Jim for setting the standard for on-field excellence. Thank you to Tony and Jim for demonstrating class and professionalism at every turn. It's pretty simple. When you treat people the way these men treat people, they're beloved. Thank you to Tony and Jim for your contributions to our game. Tony, of course, as a player, but as a coach, as a broadcaster, and his connection to the Twins of today is as strong as it was when he broke into the big leagues in the 1960s. Jim Kaat, of course, not only as a 25-year player, but as an Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, who in my mind should be in the Hall of Fame not just now as a player, but as a broadcaster. Thank you to Tony and Jim for your commitment to community. Tony is arguably the greatest ambassador our franchise has ever had. His connection with fans across Twins territory is second to none. He is absolutely tops on the list in Twins games played for and attended, in autograph signed. I'm not sure there's anybody in the state of Minnesota that does not have at least 2 Tony Oliva autographs. Miles traveled on the winter caravan. Twins Fest attended. And of course, Gordette and Tony have helped raise millions of dollars over their 60 years in Minnesota for so many wonderful charities. And that matters greatly. To Jim Kaat, Minnesota remains, I think, home for Jim in so many ways. And certainly Jim over the years has helped countless charities across Twins territory. And, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but Jim Kaat played an absolutely critical role in founding the Bob Ellison Ataxia Research Center at the University of Minnesota, an organization that we continue in this market through a partnership with the baseball writers and the Minnesota Twins to raise dollars for a tremendous cause and celebrating Bob Ellison's legacy. The Twins could not be more proud to have these 2 men sporting our beloved TC on their caps in Cooperstown. In our view, both Tony and Jim have been a Hall of Famers for a long, long time. But yesterday's news gives us all an excuse to throw a really big party in Cooperstown in July. And in the weeks and months to come, we will be sharing more news about how fans can get involved and how we, the Minnesota Twins, will be celebrating Tony and Jim, not just here at Target Field, but in Cooperstown. Congratulations, men. Richly deserved. We're incredibly proud. Dick.
Thank you, Dave.
Well, I'm here, guys. I'm a little late.
It's just an example of the magnitude of this event. There are 74 living Hall of Famers, and we believe we have 6 of them who will be a part of this, including the 2 newest members of the Baseball Hall of Fame, Tony and Jim. But I believe we have, well, I know we have Mr. Blyleven, if we want to switch to him, and Bert, and there's Mr. Carew. We're going to have words from him. Bert, you know, regularly on the broadcast, you pointed out that you had a wonderful pitching culture that you joined in 1970, and you mentioned Jim Perry and certainly Jim Kaat. And I'm wondering, the great Hall of Fame career that you had, how much Jim might have helped you along your way, and your thoughts about your left-handed partner getting into the Hall of Fame.
Well, first of all, we just got home from Orlando. I had the opportunity to vote on both committees, the early days and then also the golden days of baseball. And I can't be more proud of Tony Oliva and Jim Kaat. You know, when I came up at a very young age, you're looking for mentors to kind of guide you how to become a major league pitcher. And Jim Kaat, I tell you what, fellow Dutchman, he took me like a younger brother, and I thanked him over and over and over. Kitty, you know I have. I love you, and I'm so happy that you are where you belong, and that's in the Cooperstown and in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Bert. Appreciate that.
And similarly, we had a Rookie of the Year in 1964, Mr. Oliva. And then 3 years later, we had another Rookie of the Year in Rod Carew. And Rodney, if you are with us, I'm curious about your thoughts about what Tony meant to you and what an honor it was to share the clubhouse and the field with Mr. Kaat as well.
Well, guys, I'm happy to be here. You know,
Can you hear me?
can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. I was in tears yesterday when I got the news, because these 2 gentlemen are 2 great people, not only on the baseball field, but also in the community. As we say, Tony is the ambassador, and man, what an ambassador we have. You know, I was fortunate to play with both of them. Jim, who went out there every day and pitched, and Tony, who went out there every day, played in good legs and bad legs. And he took me in as a rookie roommate, and we were that way for about 11 years. And so I know how it feels for Tony to be joining Harmon and Kirby and I and Jack Morris and Paul Molitor, you know, in the Hall of Fame. all Minnesota guys, and it's you know, it's documented. How much can you say about Jim Kaat and say about Tony Oliva? Tony, I know for one, is the same person that he was in 1965 when I met him at Yankee Stadium. Humble and humble to this day. Jim, you're a great guy. I love you guys. And welcome to one of the greatest fraternities in the world.
Thanks, Rod.
The Baseball
Thank you.
Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Two Hall of Fame players honoring the two newest Hall of Famers, and we have two more in attendance here today, and both had left behind tremendous footprints in this organization. And Jack Morris knows all about having to wait a little bit longer than he would have liked to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. But Jack, why don't you come up, if you would, and express your thoughts to these two gentlemen about your feelings about them joining you in Cooperstown this summer.
Well, Tony and Jim, like probably every Twins fan that was watching the announcement yesterday, I almost jumped through the ceiling and didn't shed tears, but just smiled. And the grin hasn't stopped. I'm so happy for both of you. As a kid growing up in the Minnesota community, you know, the dream to play for the Twins someday had a lot to do with both you gentlemen. And the way you carried yourself, the way you led by example on the field, and to get to know you as human beings off the field is as rewarding, if not more rewarding for me. So I'll keep it short and simple. I'm just proud as heck. I'm so happy for you. It's so overdue for both of you guys, and welcome to our club. Like Rod just said, it's a great fraternity. I'm not sure it's going to change your lives that much because you're already where you're supposed to be. So congratulations to both you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And like Jack Morris, Paul Molitor spent a big part of his childhood in front of the television set watching these guys play, transistor radio to his ear, and the games as well at Metropolitan Stadium. So, Paul, why don't you come up, if you would, and express your thoughts about these two great men joining the club.
Appreciate that, Dick. I'll be brief. We could get pretty redundant with the accolades and the compliments to these men. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather hear from these two guys than us other people coming up to the mic. But as Jack said, growing up here in the Twin Cities, Twins baseball was huge for me. It was motivating. These guys were two of the guys I followed very closely through their entire careers. Ended up facing Jim in the '82 World Series, which was kind of ironic when he was with the Cardinals after watching him as a youngster. But I'm really happy. I was on the committee, I can't remember how many years ago, when you guys were on it, and my vote, although it went in your direction, wasn't enough to get you over the hump at that particular time. You guys have had to wait too long. Cooperstown has a way of eventually getting things right. So I was very elated yesterday. Congratulations to both you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Jim, I want to throw some names at you. Sandy Koufax, Whitey Ford, Warren Spahn, Steve Carlton. Pitchers of your era, you had to pitch against them. Those are just the left-handers, by the way. And you're going to join that club now. And you had to wait a long, long time. But your thoughts about being considered now, finally, officially, a Baseball Hall of Famer?
Well, it's an overwhelming honor, Dick. That's very humbling. I'm grateful for it. And I've been very clear over the years that the reason I didn't get in, when you look at Bert and the names Jack Morris and the names you mentioned, these guys were number one perennial opening day starters. They were aces of their staff. I emerged some years as a number one, but I was just kind of back there. I took a lot of pride in going to the post every 4 days. I don't think I ever missed a start because of an arm injury. I broke my wrist sliding into base in '72, and again my kneecap in '76. But the Hall of Fame rewards dominance. And when you look at the guys you just heard from, and you look at Tony in his first 8 years, Bert I wasn't that dominant, but I'm so grateful that the committee decided to reward dependability and longevity. So that's kind of where I fit into the picture. And you know, those number one guys can sit in the front row, and I'll have a little plaque in the back or something. I'm perfectly happy with that because I know my place, and I'm happy to be there with them.
As you know, Jim, baseball, maybe more than the other sports, it's a numbers game, and the numbers have changed over the last decade or so. And I mentioned some of the numbers that are attached to your Hall of Fame career, the wins, the Gold Gloves, and all that. But what number are you proudest of as you get ready to enter the halls at Cooperstown?
I don't know if there's an individual number. I would say, you know, maybe 625 starts, maybe a couple of years with 300 innings. You know, I think proud of being able, every spring, I tried to go to spring training and attack it like I was a rookie. I remember Del Wilbur telling me, he was our AAA manager, it's one thing to get there, it's another thing to stay there. So I never went to spring training thinking that I had it made. I wanted to keep improving and keep playing. And then when Whitey Herzog asked me to be the lefty guy out of the bullpen in the 80s, and we ended up winning the World Series, that's still a record of minutia that I hold. The longest period of time between World Series appearances, 65, we lost in 7. 82, we won in 7. What Molly didn't point out is that in game 1, when they shellacked us, I think he still has the record. He got 5 hits in that game, and one of them was off me, I think, in the 8th or 9th inning. But the longevity, the dependability, the two things that stick out as thrills really were seeing, and Molly would have to close his ears, when Bruce Sutter threw a fastball past Gorman Thomas in game 7 with 2 out to end the 1982 World Series, and we're world champions. That's about as big a thrill as you can get. Far surpasses individual thrills. I enjoyed being on the mound when we beat the Senators 2-1 to win the American League pennant, for the first pennant for the Twins. And my soon-to-be good buddy struck out for the last out, Don Zimmer. That's an individual thing that was kind of a kick. But the team honors and the longevity and the dependability. I remember signing Sam Mealy said, would you sign a picture for me? This was maybe about a year before he passed away. And so I mailed a picture to his daughter, and I said, Sam, thanks for giving me the ball every 4 days. Because it takes a manager that has confidence in you to give him the ball every 4 days. And he sent back and he said, it was a pleasure to give you the ball every 4 days. So I took a lot of pride in that. And that's very satisfying to have a manager that says, hey, we depend on you. We know what you're going to get, what we're going to get out of you. And that's kind of it. That's what really sticks out as my enjoyment in the game.
Jim, I'm sure you don't remember this, but you and I first met in Cooperstown in 1984. I was there. My broadcast partner at the time, Harmon Killebrew, was being inducted, and that's where you and I first had a chance to meet one another. And I know that was a big day for you, as it was a big day when Rod went in as well, Kirby and Bert. But what do you expect the next couple months are going to be like for you? I know you got a speech that you've got to get ready to give, and that'll be...
I'm going to get you to write that for me.
But what do you expect the next few months to be like now that this has finally happened?
You know, I have no idea. I think Betsy called me during the week and said, you know, what would your reaction be? I said, I really can't answer that until I have to react, which I finally got the phone call from Jane Clark, and it was a very emotional time. So I really don't know what they're going to be. I know I want to hold up this picture. I don't know if you can get it or see it, but that is my dad standing in front of the museum in 1947 when he drove from Zeeland, Michigan to see Lefty Grove inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's the first baseball star I heard of. And so those memories are always going to be with me of how important it was to him as a fan. But I just know the Twins will do a good job of making it very enjoyable and exciting for Tony and I. And I'll just take it a day at a time. You know, Tony and I at 83, we got to stay healthy. We got to be there. So we got to take care of ourselves. So that's goal number one. And I'll just enjoy the moment as they roll along.
Jim, congratulations from everybody in Twins territory and from around the globe. The baseball fans everywhere are just delighted that you're part of the Hall of Fame class next summer.
Thanks, Dick. And if I could just say a word about Tony when you mentioned his early days, and Rod will know this too. Let me decline this call a minute. I think I'm back on. Rod was a batting title holder, and Harmon was a home run hitter, and both respected as Hall of Famers. But boy, catchers in the American League, they feared when Tony came up with men on. And I had the privilege of being with Tony back in the 60s in the instructional league when Del Wilbur would hit him fly balls down in St. Pete, Florida. And actually, he would miss the ball sometime, wouldn't even hit his glove. And I think 4 years later, he won a gold glove. So Tony's probably going to tell you that gold glove means as much to him as the batting titles. And he was such a complete player and a great teammate. I am so honored to go in with him.
Congratulations, Jim, and we'll stay in touch throughout Twins territory. Everybody offers their congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, Mr. Oliva, you will be inducted along with your longtime teammate, Mr. Kaat. You will also be inducted alongside Minnie Minoso, who was also posthumously given the honor yesterday with the election to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, Minnie was a bit ahead of you in terms of time as a baseball player, and he had already established himself as a Cuban, as a major league star. And I'm just curious whether Minnie had any influence on you, even going back to the days when you were a little boy playing baseball in Cuba.
Well, when I don't have the opportunity to see Minnie play, but I hear his name back in the 50s. Because when he played winter baseball league in Cuba, he was already a superstar here in America. And to play winter baseball in Cuba, you have to play in the big league or you have to be a good AAA players. Like Bobby Allen who played in Cuba, and many of those great American ball players who played AAA or fin in the big league here in America played in Cuba. That was a good league. And Minnie also, in those days, he was for us, it's like Jackie Robinson here in America, who was the first black players who played in the big league. Well, Miñoso was the first black player because he was black. It's not a little black. He was a black player. And I say, and he had a great career, and everybody loved Minnie Miñoso. He was so good that they have a song about him. And they say when Minnie Minoso hit the ball right, the ball dances the cha-cha-cha. And the people used to go around and he in Havana, and he go to the country, and the people follow him. Like I say, I had a little radio in the country and listen him playing in one of those things in Cuba. But he was very good for the people in Cuba, and the ball players, they love Miñoso and love to follow his tradition. Because one way or another, everybody like to come to the United States and have the opportunity to play baseball, professional baseball. And Miñoso have a lot to do with that. I'm so proud that he got the opportunity to be inducted in the big league. I can take it back a little bit. I'm very proud about he make the Hall of Fame. But a few years ago, when they got 16 black ball players that went into the Hall of Fame, I was with Miñoso in the cruise with my wife, and a few ball players cruise, and they said this year they're going to be endorsed all the black players from the big league who belong to the Hall of Fame. And I went to Miñoso, and I gave him a hug. I said, hey, this is going to be your years. Because he only was two great ball players left alive, was Miñoso and O'Neill. I mean, also, everybody know he was a great ball player. He know how to be. He can go to Hall of Fame in both categories, in the black or white category. Doesn't matter. But he don't make. I was very disappointed because they endorsed 16 people who was dead already, and 2 people who was alive, who was able to come in there and speak about those people and tell about those people how good they were. They no endorsed them into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I was very disappointed about that. This is it. And so I had to go. This is it. I was so proud yesterday when that phone rang. Yeah, I was. I say, oh, was already. We don't have too much time. I was there. The phone rang. I said, oh, I alive. I guess I guess say to the people, that was a big relief. Because I don't know how you guys think, but for the when you're right there, they say you only have 15 minutes, and 14 minutes once going away already. I say, oh, you're dead.
Tony, what does it mean for you to go into the Hall of Fame in the same class as the guy over your left shoulder, Mr. Kaat, who was already an established player by the time you showed up in '64?
That was special for me because not as a ball player. Jim Kaat, when I started, he was already a big league ball player. He was already a superstar. And he take care of me. Many times, he babysitted me because I speak a little bit English then. And Jim Kaat, we were in Anaheim. Tony, let's go eat some Mexican food. But I said, Jim, we can go to there. I said, no. He knows the right place. We get in the taxi, and he paid for everything. I don't have no money, only a little bit. Plus, I in Cuba. I had to save the money for my family in Cuba. We take a taxi, we go for 7 or 8 miles, we went to this little tiny Mexican restaurant where we have great food. Same thing he did in Oakland. Come on, Tony, let's go eat some buffalo steak. Right? You can't take me away, for a ride all the time. I think it's more the team maker, more as a ball player. I've been telling the people that Jim Kaat he should be in the Hall of Fame long time ago. For all those games he plays, all the games he wins, and the kind of person who said, Mr. Kaat, I like all those guys take care of me, and I'm so proud about that. I'm so proud he finally make it. We go together into the Hall of Fame. I think it's going to make everything a lot easier for me because, I a chicken. You never know. I can get very nervous.
Hey, Tony, I think Jim would appreciate it if next time, that you pick up the check.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Hey, it was my pleasure to talk with both you gentlemen this morning to offer my personal congratulations. And Tony, I asked you how you slept last night, and you said you slept really, really well, and things haven't changed. Well, things are going to change just a little bit. And I wonder, as Dave mentioned, you've been such an affable person and willing to sign autographs. One thing's going to change. I'm going to ask you to sign a baseball for the Diamond Awards next winter. And you're going to sign your name, if you would.
Only one?
And then I want only one. And then I want you to put HOF 2022. God. So that's going to change for you. So let me bring a baseball over.
How you spell it out?
HOF. And then if you would, hold it up for the cameras. This might be the first time that knowing him, he probably signed 24 last night at the party, no? All right, so here's the first Tony Oliva HOF autographed baseball, and we'll put it in the Diamond Awards next winter.
It's a real ball. I think he bring a cheaper one up. That's right. It's a good one.
All right, wonderful. And so now an opportunity for you to ask the 2 newest members of Baseball's Hall of Fame any questions if you have them. No questions? Yes, Charles.
for both Tony and Jim. Congratulations. But there was other players that didn't get in, like Dick Allen and John Wesley Donaldson. And can you speak about just the fact that there's so many players that has not yet got in that should have got in, like you have, and if they're going to ever get a chance to get in?
Well, I'd be happy to address that. I had a very sweet conversation this morning with Willa Allen, the widow of Dick Allen. When I got traded to Chicago, Dick and I bonded so close because he learned the game from Gene Mock. He played the game the right way, hit it the man on second, no outs. He probably could have hit it 500 feet. He's hit the ball the other way. And he soon learned that I approached the game, even though I was a pitcher, like a baseball player. You know, you want to run the bases, you want to hit. Of course, the DH came in, but we really became close, and Dick has come close. My ultimate goal was to go in with Tony and Dick. And I think, you know, the committee's able to vote for 4, and I'm sure they're on the fence with that 4th. You know, we're so fortunate we had Bert there and Mike Schmidt and Ozzie, you know, Joe Torre. So I'm sure Dick will get in. And I talk to Willa frequently, and I sure hope he does, because Dick, I could tell you stories for the next hour about the legendary things that Dick Allen could do. If you have time, you know, that famous picture on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he had his hard hat, he was always smoking a heater. He had a heater in his mouth on Sports Illustrated. And so he'd walk in the clubhouse, and 8 o'clock game, he didn't take batting practice. He'd walk in about 20 after 7. I'd be the pitcher. I'd sit in front of my locker. Dick say, "Old timer, who we playing?" I'd say, "We're playing Oakland." "Who's pitching?" "Vida Blue." "Oh, I got to dial it up a notch." And he would go out there, the wind would be blowing in, and we'd say, "Well, nobody's hitting one out of here today." And Dick would drive a hole in the wind. I mean, he just did legendary things on the field. And I hope I'm around for the next 5-year cycle when Dick gets in, because he certainly deserves it.
Phil?
Hi, congratulations to both of you. Tony and Jim, I'm wondering, the game has changed so much, and you have spent the last 40 years watching it pretty closely. How do you think a 25-year-old Tony Oliva would play today? What kind of player would you be? And the same for what kind of pitcher would a 25-year-old Jim Kaat be in today's game?
Go ahead, Tony.
Well, it's hard to say because I don't have the opportunity to play today. That was 25 years ago. How long? It's a long time ago. That's about 50 years or maybe more. 60. Oh, 60 years. Yeah, oh, 60 years. You see, I lost track. But, you know, I think really, for me, I think like a Cuban, baseball is the same. The only thing we try to change the game a little bit. But you still have to throw the ball, hit the ball, catch the ball, do all these little things. Now all the others, the thing that we do is like we in the 2000 era, you know, we play a little bit the game different. The kind of game that we used to play in the 60s and the 70s, that I play, you don't go see that kind of baseball no more. Because we play like, like animals. We play tough, hard. Now they don't allow you to if you have a chance to break the double play in those days, you try to do it, no matter what. You try to break the double play. This way, as if you can get it out, and you can win the ball game. Today, if you do that, you know, you maybe get fined or something, or West interference. In the home place, if you see a lot of this tape, if you see that Pete Rose coming to you and you're in the home plate, you better start running, or he killing you. Or in second base, this is the way they used to play. Now it's different. You play, you know, take care better of the ball players and do a lot of stuff different. and you have to get used to. I don't like it to watch when they have that switch, like if it's Hamon Kilibro hitting, I can understand that. If you say, hey, we switch it. But no have to be Hamon Kilibro, have to be anybody. Sometimes if you're right-handed, everybody goes this way. If you're left-handed, everybody goes this way. Many times the guys, if you got a smart hitting, they try to hit the ball to opposite field, or make a second and third, and this guy score. I think it's very hard sometimes for the pitcher sometimes where you make a good pitch and the guy get a base hit. But it's the way we play today, and we have to get used to. It's hard sometimes for the old-fashioned like me to watch it and see sometimes a routine little ground ball go through, or see a hitter not take advantage of the situation. That makes me more mad. When I see a hitter, you say, man third or man second, if you have a little routine ground ball, this is the way you can win the ball game, and you not try it. This is the part I don't understand, And the people asking me, I go take a one and say, the people asking me a lot of questions sometimes. One thing that Jim Kaat said not too long ago, I take a pride in myself when I play the game. I know the ball players take a lot of pride, but in order to work hard, you have to work smart. I was the worst fielder you ever can watch it. I used to sit down on the ground, the ball go through my leg. My first year, okay, I don't play that much baseball in Cuba, but my first year, but 4 years later, I win the Golden Glove. Because I know I watch Alkaline play, I watch this big league play, and we have some coaches to work on me very hard. It's not only me, the coaches work on me. They will be, that Jack McKean and many coaches work on me very hard. I develop myself because I want to be better. I don't want to be only a hitter. Because since I left Cuba, I don't know what, because I never played hard baseball, but I know I can hit. My little brother was 7 years old. I used to throw balls to me and catch the wall. I get to be so good hitting, no matter what you throw, I go hit it. And that was, I worked, I know what I had to do to get better.
Jim, you want to address that one?
I can't imagine Tony being into launch angle and exit velocity. Because what was so good about Tony is the pitcher would get him 0-2 and we'd say he doesn't know it, but he's in trouble because Tony in Cuba hit all those wadded up papers that broke along like breaking balls. But as a pitcher, I've often told Johan Santana, I said, I wish I would have had your changeup in Game 7 of the 1965 World Series. And I think if I were pitching today, when I look at the way the pitching patterns are, I'd like to throw low and slow as often as I could. And, nowadays, even in batting practice, they move the machine up and hitters hit from like 40 feet to make believe it's 95 miles an hour. So, sometimes low and slow is better than high and hard. But it would be interesting to play. But I think if we grew up in the era that these young players grew up in and were subject to some of the horrible things that they go through as little leaguers and amateur players. I mean, you go to a tryout camp and if you don't hit 91, they're not even going to invite you back the second day. I talked to Pete Rose. I got a nice voicemail from him last night, and I talked to Pete frequently. I coached for him for 1.5 years. I said, Pete, if you went to a tryout camp today, send you home the first day. You had no power. You had no strong arm. You couldn't run. You didn't have any range. How in the world could you play baseball? So, I think that if Pete grew up in today's game, he would have to change and adapt. Or my big wish, and I don't know if it'll happen in my baseball lifetime, is that they throw the exit velocity, launch angle, all the shifting, just throw that away and throw the ball out there and say, hey, use your intuitive skills and let's go play ball for 9 innings. They have all the statistics, and to me, the biggest statistic has always been if we get 27 outs and we have one more run than the other team, we win the game. And that's the most important statistic in baseball that we abided by.
Betsy.
Hey, Tony and Jim, congratulations. We've heard from 4 of them today. Maybe you've heard from some others, but what is the welcoming you've received from current members of the Hall of Fame over the past day meant to you?
Oh, it's been great for me. I'm sure Tony also, Dennis Eckersley sent me a nice message, Jack, some of the current Hall of Famers, Peter Gammons, the longtime writer. So, and they keep coming in. Johnny Bench left me a voicemail. Like I said, Pete Rose did. And I think that's one of the real rewarding things for me is to hear the Hall of Famers say, you deserve this. It's been a long time coming. And regardless of what the stats and the statistics and the nerds that keep track of that stuff, Tony Kubek, for example, called and said, I'm glad they recognize it. It's the way you play the game. And that's what they, that's what they rewarded. And that's the best thing to me, to hear from your peers that they appreciated the way you played the game.
Well, I have a few. Jim Palmer, I don't know. Jim Palmer, he sent me a message, and Paul Molitor left me a beautiful message.
Oh, he did, yep.
And a lot of the other players. But I checked my telephone, I got 192 messages. I started yesterday, and this morning I was in the telephone and they keep it coming, but I don't have time to answer. When I come back home, I go watch.
I haven't heard back yet.
You're right. My wife, you said you better do something, or you don't have no more messages.
We got plenty of time to do it.
Yeah.
Dill.
Tony and Jim, Dave alluded to this a little bit earlier, but have you had a chance to think about how important of a day July 24th is going to be for people around Minnesota and the upper Midwest who had a chance to watch you and support you all those years?
I haven't thought that far ahead yet. I mean, I can kind of imagine it. I'll give you one example. Got a phone call this morning, didn't recognize the number. It was my college roommate. I haven't seen him since 1966. He was the right-hand pitcher. I was the lefty. Our college season was 6 doubleheaders. He pitched 6, I pitched 6. He went on to a successful business career. He already has rooms reserved. He's going to come to the ceremony. So I'm sure there will be stories like that will be very rewarding and make that day so special, as people that you haven't seen for a long, long time, way back in your past, are going to be there, and that'll be special.
Well, I what can to say? When they talk about the Hall of Fame, I don't know. That said not hit me yet. Yeah, I don't think that go hit me, because I think I've been in the Hall of Fame all my life. No, it's truth. Play here in Minnesota. Have the best family in the world. Have a great family. I think the way I feel about the people in Minnesota, the thing in Minnesota. Now Minnesota Twins building me a statue. A statue in front of the stadium. I come from Cuba, from a little town in Cuba, and that have a wonderful family. I've been in the Hall of Fame. Plus, I've been from the, Captain Griffith organization, and later couple organization, over 60 years. I'm feeling very good about. I don't think I got nothing about. The only thing is that now they call me Hall of Fame. It's nice. It's nice to be in this group. But I think for me, I've been in that group for a long time. To be here in Minnesota and got those great people around me, my family, and that is what this is more important for me.
Is there one more question here, Joe?
Congrats to both of you, Jim and Tony. Because you had to wait so long, I'm sure you lost some people you'd love to share this moment with. Besides your parents, is there somebody that you're sitting here today because of, you wish you could thank?
Well, yeah, there's a couple for me. I still have a hole in my heart, and I will for the rest of my life, is that my 55-year-old healthy daughter, Jill, was diagnosed with neuroendocrine cancer about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and she passed away in March. My late wife, Mary Ann, was such a supporter. So, but that's the things at 83 that, you know, you're not going to be able to share those with a lot of people that are older than you, but in particular case with my daughter, because we were close. She was a great supporter, and I'm sure, you know, my son-in-law and my 3 grandkids from of Jill, they'll be there, and we'll have some sentimental times thinking about her.
For me, you know, I come from Cuba, and my parents never they have the opportunity to see me play, or my brothers. And now I have brothers who live here in Minneapolis. But the guy one guy who's a sponsor for me to be here, Roberto Fernandez Tapene, who's the guy who taken me to see your company when he signed me. He passed away like the last years. He was 91 years old when he passed away. That was the one person that, man, I'd like him to be around, to be able to share this moment, because I still think he was the best scout in the world. He signed me, only me. I in the Hall of Fame, you know what I mean? Oh, for one, he hit a thousand, it's unbelievable. And there's another guy, there's some guy here, maybe know him, Rigoberto Mendoza. He's here, he's alive, he's 87 years old. He saved my career because Minnesota Twin or Washington Center, I don't know what, in 1961 in the spring training, I got released. That was the Bahia Peak in Cuba. And I left 10 days before from Cuba, Mexico, United States. When I get to spring training, only 2 things was left. And after 3 days, they let me go. When they release you should come back home. You should go home. But since they don't have enough transportation to come back home, they had to keep me back. They sent me to Charlotte. This is where Rigoberto Mendoza was there. He took care of me like his little brother. And he went to see the general manager of Charlotte Ball Club for your house. He tell your house how good ball player I was. He lied a little bit about because I'm from Cuba. He only see me play maybe 1 time or 2, but he know that I would like to play ball. We have this beautiful meeting. I said, no, if I don't have a chance to play, I want to come back home. For your house, he said, I go pay your expenses, I go keep you and send you to a rookie league. And this is why I started. Rigoberto, speak of your house paid my expenses right there in Charlotte. I went to rookie league, I hit over 400, and everything was a history after that. Mendoza, last night, after the call, after I finished all the interview, the first guy I called was Mendoza, Rigoberto Mendoza. He was so happy about, I was so happy about to be able to call him, because if you know what's for him, who knows? I may be in Cuba or maybe here in United States, do anything, because as a ball player, come from Cuba, and this area, you don't know, in England is saying, if you stay here, you have to find any kind of job or however. But my goal was, if I don't play ball, I want to go home and go to Cuba.
Pierre.
Tony,
If I could tag that line for Tony, Manny Mendoza, we called him the Cuban Godfather. He took care of so many. You know, when we first became twins, we had the TC logo on our cap, and it used to be a W. And when we went around to stadiums like Detroit, that was strange. So what's TC stand for? And we would say 20 Cubans. Because we had Pascual, Ramos, we had Oliva, Versailles, Carlos Paula, Julio Becker, on and on. And Manny Mendoza and Joe Cambria had a lot of influence on young players like Tony.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, you're right. He's your company was the Godfather, Cuban Godfather. When I come into spring training, my first year,
I cut it off.
we got a lot of Cuban there. I said, what's about 30 Cuban in spring training those days?
Yeah.
You don't see too many for the different country, but you see a lot of Cuban there.
But the sound is still going.
I think we got Rod back. Just a few more. Yeah.
Tony, Jim, congratulations to you both. Real quick, my question actually is for Dave. Dave, I can see that it means a lot to you to see both of these men inducted into the Hall of Fame. What are the emotions for you right now?
It's been an emotional 24 hours. This is a family. Our organization prides itself on that, and it started with two of these men. There's others that are sitting over here to my right, but it means a world to our organization, to our employees, obviously to our fans. And I grew up as a kid in Bismarck, North Dakota. Threw right, hit left. Immediately I would say, "Hey, Tony O." So to be sitting up here next to him today, going into the Hall of Fame with this man, he brings a lot of us with him. He brings his family. There's a lot of employees. There's a number of people in this room today that have spent countless hours in the community working with Jim and Tony, connecting with people. And I just cannot tell you what this news means to our organization. And we love these men, and they're a huge part of the Twins family.
I think that's a good place to end, and I'm amazed we pulled this off. This was one of the more interactive press conferences we've ever had, so thank you to Drew Halverson and Sam Henshin, and thank you to Bert and Rod. We covered this thing from coast to coast and pulled it off, so thank you to those two, and of course, Paul and Jack to join us on a very special day. Mark your calendars, July 24th. I have a feeling a lot of Minnesotans will be in Cooperstown, New York. So thank you for joining us today. We're going to try to pull off a picture. I need Jack and Molly, but if we can stand in front of Jim Kaat, Tony, can you stand in front of the screen there, and we'll try to get a picture and see how this turns out. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations to Mr. Kaat and Mr. Oliva.
Thank you.